Headline news most affecting Chilliwack this week. So far, COVID circuit breaker rules did the trick. Now, a 4-stage plan for recovery. Rail in the Valley is back in the news via a national poll. Claiming COVID positive and then coughing up on a Mountie, not a wise thing to do. And the BC Hockey League hoping to have a full schedule in the fall. Our special guests this week include Rick Green from South Fraser Community Rail and City Councillors Sue Knott and Councillors Corner, Chilliwack City. All right, Chilliwack, let's get started with this week's Hofstede's Country Barn top news stories. COVID circuit breaker restrictions will be lifted, but not everything opens at once. The stages roll through that started May the 25th, now till September the 7th. With more than 60% of adults vaccinated with their first dose and COVID-19 case counts and hospitalizations steadily declining, BC is moving forward with the very cautious first step of this 4-step plan for a careful and safe restart. So step 1 is now in place. That includes restricted indoor dining, outdoor sports with no spectators and limited on-field action, interfaith indoor gatherings with restrictions on attendance, recreational travel, but only within travel regions, no out-of-province travel right now, and limited indoor personal gatherings in your home bubble. So, yeah, you can invite the neighbor for the barbecue. The provincial website has the full details of all 4 stages. The long-standing debate between First Nations and Metis over equal Aboriginal rights has always been testy, and last week, in a terse statement, the First Nations Leadership Council rejected the Métis Nation of BC's claim of Aboriginal rights throughout the province, including harvesting rights and the claim that they are Indigenous governing body in the province with equal access to resources. Now, First Nation chiefs rejected the Métis assertion of rights outlined in the Métis Nation BC report. It's called A Tale of Two Nations. Louis DeJagger is a Chilliwack-based businessman and with Stallo Business, and last September elected to the Minister of Economic Development and Natural Resources for Métis Nation BC. He told chillTV that he echoes the MNBC call for cooperation. The Métis position states, Métis do have the inherent right to self-government in BC and the same rights and legalities as full-status First Nations. While this is going on, former Chilliwack Kent MLA Laurie Thronis made some comments on Twitter that riled many in the Indigenous community in response to a May 15th article in the Vancouver Sun on acknowledging traditional lands. Thronis tweeted, quote, I avoided land acknowledgements when I was MLA. They imply that non-Indigenous people are wrongly in BC. If I am on someone else's unceded land, I should leave. But BC belongs to everyone and all are welcome. Well, treaty court processes can also right historical wrongs. Now, Louis DeJagger, among others, weighed in on Thronis, calling him tone deaf, and I'm just paraphrasing his last tweet, if he doesn't get it by now, Thronis never will.
So when you come into the store, everything looks so beautiful and fresh is because I care. I come in at 4 in the morning. I work hard at it to make it look good for our customers. We buy from micro farms locally. We love their product. We buy it because we love the quality for Hofstede's Country Barn.
Downtown Chilliwack Community Market is a weekly summer market where local growers, crafters, and gatherers can connect their products with you, the community, and where the people of Chilliwack can find locally grown, gathered, and crafted quality foods and goods. Now, the market is starting on Sunday, June the 6th. It'll run every Sunday until the end of August. And every Sunday, it's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and information can be found on their website, and it can also be found at the foot of Mill Street on Sundays in downtown Chilliwack at Central Community Park. This past Tuesday, Hope Council voted unanimously to remove the district heritage status of the aging Hope train station. However, a bylaw is still needed to make this official, and that would come at a future council meeting. Now, this doesn't mean the station will see the wrecking ball, nor has it been saved at all. There's a stop work order from the BC Ombudsperson that remains in effect. That means no demolition until that order expires. Initially, that was supposed to be in August. It has been extended to November. Meanwhile, various groups continue their work behind the scenes to try and come up with a solution to save the building. 2 people could face criminal charges following incidents of people intentionally coughing up on RCMP officers. During separate incidents in May and April of this year, individuals in police custody alleged that they had COVID-19 and then intentionally coughed up on Chilliwack RCMP officers. Now, the two, a 27-year-old woman from Chilliwack and a 28-year-old Agassiz man, did not exhibit any symptoms of COVID-19. However, the RCMP, under strict pandemic protocols, were required to monitor the officers' health following those incidents, and assault charges are now pending. Last September, chillTV aired a 4-part series with Rick Green on the potential of South Fraser Community Rail and using existing BC Rail tracks. Well, it was brought up again in a recent poll. chillTV will update where that project is with former Langley City Mayor as well as TransLink Council member Rick Green. That interview is coming up in just a moment. This month's edition of Councillors Corner, Chilliwack City, is with Councillor Knott, and we talk, amongst other things, art. Don Lehn, chillTV News, and Councillors Corner, Chilliwack City, with Councillor Knott. We've got a couple of things that we definitely want to touch base on. First off, it seemed that the entire community had breathed a sigh of relief on a number of events. First off, the portal, the homeless there being moved to where the Travel Lodge used to be. And I'm sure that you've heard your fair share of that all being moved now. What's the feeling within City Council? That must have been just a big weight off the shoulder.
Well, you can certainly say that again. I honestly can say hallelujah that it has finally moved. When we were looking at that space, even in the beginning, I had some really personally as council, but some really deep concerns about the fact that, you're not going to put a pot shop or a liquor store within that distance of a high school and an elementary school and middle school, whatever. And here we are putting the portal there. And, that part of our community absolutely needs our support. But, you're basically setting them up to fail and to be disliked by the community when you put them so close to a school so that they're interacting with the kids all the time. And, it just made for such a nasty situation. So now they can get the help that they need. And when the new portal opens, they're going to have a great place to go into. And in the meantime, we have finally kept our promise to the community, to the people who live in that area, to say, no, it's moving. It's a temporary thing. Correct
me if I'm wrong on the timeline. So there is a June 8th council meeting that will talk about the new facility at Rowett and Trethewey?
Actually, June 1st is our next council meeting. I'm not sure whether that's on the agenda, but it will be coming up in front of council, a few more times from what I understand before it actually opens, because, there has been some delays and things like that. But in the meantime, everyone that was at the portal has been placed, and they're in, a great place to kind of now wait for the new facility to be built. So
the other hat you wear with the city of Chilliwack is you're the boss when it comes to public art. And one thing I did notice in front of the business center, Setco, we all thought that the Meet Ya at the 5 was going to be built, which I kind of liked. I know Councillor Mercer had his issues with it. And then all of a sudden there are these planters. So is Meet Ya at the 5 now completely off the table? We're just going to replace it with really cool planters.
Yeah.
But is this where you're going to go now, or is there something down the road?
No, it's absolutely still happening. Some piece of public art is going to end up there. The Public Art Advisory Committee met again and went through presentations from 4 of the potential artists that we looked at before. But we gave them the opportunity this time to actually present their piece, which we've never done in the past. We've just, looked at the pieces and talked about them as a committee. So this time we gave them the opportunity, because it was sent back. We went through a bunch of presentations, and we have come up with our first, second, and third choices, which will now come back in front of council on June 1st.
Oh, okay, that too. All right.
Yes. So I am hoping that now that the pieces have been explained a little better, there was some concern about one of the pieces. They felt like it came from a sign studio. Well, that wasn't in fact the case. The fabricator of the piece actually was the one that answered the RFP. And the artist was included in it, but because it came under the fabricator, it wasn't really explained as well as possibly it could have been. So I think that there'll be a lot more information come to council so that they can make a more informed decision. And you're right, I love the meet you at the 5. So we'll see what happens. It's still up there as our first choice from the Public Art Advisory Committee.
And a reminder to everyone that you can watch the proceedings on the YouTube channel of the City of Chilliwack, as well as online. The agenda will be coming out, I would assume... This Friday.
Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Tomorrow. Sue Knott, City Councillor on Chilliwack Corner. And again, a big thank you. And June the 1st, you guys are going to be busy again. Thanks for joining us again.
Thank you very much.
You're watching chillTV's News of the Week. chillTV's News of the Week, in conversation with someone we met last September, with our first conversation with the South Fraser Community Rail Society. And Rick Green, former mayor, he has been on the TransLink committee. And now, Rick, we have an interesting situation with a poll from Research Co. and Mario Canseco, and who got a hold of who first. And obviously, this is taking a look at how we in the Valley, and there's almost 250,000 of us now, are reacting to this proposal of taking an old rail system and bringing it back to life as rapid transit.
Well, Don, we got in touch with Mario. It's actually a mutual idea. Is we thought about, because of the work we had done for a decade or two, talking to the public out here through Canada Day celebrations, agricultural fairs, and everything else. So we really wanted to measure, and he was interested in measuring the degree of support. Anecdotally, we felt we had a tremendous support out here, just with all the work that we've done. Having said that, it's one thing to say you've got the support. It's something else to say to your politicians, everybody loves it, let's do it. So we had to find a way, and this has been long thought out, about how do we come up with a measure of support. So the survey idea, the poll idea, was really the key to the whole exercise. And to be honest with you, it was a bit of a gamble, because you don't know what kind of results you're going to get. You put out the money for a poll, but it is what it is. Mario's a very, very professional research company. They structure their polls. It's all statistically valid and everything else, all those good things. And it's between North Delta and Chilliwack. So when we got the results that 88% of the respondents support it between North Delta and Chilliwack, it just blew the socks off.
Yeah, and getting back to that, you were concerned of maybe a 50-50 split or a 60-40. Did this surprise not just you, but did this surprise Mario and his crew at Research Co?
Everybody. It really shocked everybody. Mario was thinking, he shared with me, he thought it might have been something on 70-30, 60-40 idea. But we were blown away by it. And I think more interestingly is if you take a look at the other questions that were asked, just on the support of the creating a state-of-the-art passenger rail system on an existing corridor, the idea that 4 in 5 residents would have said that they are very likely to use this corridor for work or pleasure, 81% of those being people in cars, that they would be willing to get out of the car to use this corridor. So it speaks to the validity of what it is. People, as you know from our past sessions that we've done, we talked a lot about the idea that this thing sort of meanders through the valley. Well, that's just not correct. It connects 16 communities. It connects 14 post-secondary institutions, Abbotsford Airport. You can go on and on and on. and it's about creating a spine and rib system very similar to SkyTrain in Metro Vancouver.
And for those who have not seen, go to the chillTV YouTube channel, and you'll be able to find the 4-part series that we did with Rick and others like Bill Vanderzam, and that was last September. The other thing that, because of COVID, and we're looking at the restart of everything else, was there a concern that this information might get buried as we are, for lack of a better term, not fully focused on this? We just want to be able to eat in a restaurant. We want to go to a Lions football game. We want to do this. Was there a worry that this just might be set to one side? Not purposely, but just the course of the way things have been in the news.
Well, I think, Don, you're in the news business, and you know that the COVID has taken up pretty well all the oxygen over the last 15 months. When is a good time to do it? It doesn't take away from or detract from the results of the poll, because people's opinions are people's opinions. But I think when you really take a look at it, right now we've got a provincial study underway for the Valley. It's the Fraser Valley Integrated Transportation Development Study, which is something that we lobbied for about 3 years. They announced that a year ago last February, so it's about an 18-month study. We wanted to find a way to prove our side of the argument, that people want it, people will use it. It is something that's terribly needed. If you remember our arguments before, our discussions that we talked about, there are a lot of politicians out there want to have widen Highway 1. There could be nothing further from the truth. We do not argue against widening Highway 1, but widening Highway 1 just in practical terms. If all of the agreements, all of the funding agreements and everything else was all set in place, and it started today and ended when it ended, it won't be done till 2051. It is just can't happen. Physically can't happen.
The other thing that I wanted to touch base on too, Rick, is that since our last conversation when we did the series in September, and now we've had a provincial election, it is now a majority. Is this aiding you in getting your argument pushed forward now that you don't have to worry about a snap election? You have reasonably 4 years of government now.
Yeah, very much so. And I will share this with you. We had through our MLA, and as you know, the NDP turned a number of seats in the Valley. We now have, which nobody ever thought it would ever happen, 2 NDP seats in Langley's, 2 in Chilliwack. You got Pam Alexis in Mission Abbotsford, and you've got Cloverdale. So right now, there is never been a better chance for people to realize what the public of the Valley really want. So we held a Zoom call with with 6 MLAs. 5 of them were able to attend. And it was a great call. We talked about, that was even before our release of our research. We hadn't done our poll at that time. So to share with you, on the day before the research was coming out, was going to be published by Mario, we sent 141 9x12 envelopes to every politician, provincial, municipal, in the Valley,
Excuse me.
Including BC Transit directors, Translink directors, everybody, with a complete copy of the research, the real copy of the research and the tables and a covering letter. So we're thrilled with it, and I think the public should be too. We've had great response.
Now, we are definitely going to have more of these conversations in the near future. Unfortunately, we've run out of time on this one, but Rick, as always, you are very much welcome, and we will be talking again very soon. Rick Green, part of the South Fraser Community Rail Society. Thanks again, Rick.
Thanks, Don. Appreciate it.
And you're watching chillTV's News of the Week. In a very positive media release, BC Hockey League is fully expecting a 54-game schedule in the fall. The divisions are going to be rejigged. The configuration for the new season will see the Prince George Spruce Kings move from the mainland division to a newly formed interior conference. The Cranbrook Bucks are now entering their second BC Hockey League season. They'll be part of that interior conference along with the Spruce Kings, Penticton, Trail, Wenatchee, we're hoping they can cross the border, Merritt, Salmon Arm, Vernon, and the West Kelowna Warriors. Meanwhile, the island and mainland divisions have merged into the Coastal Conference. So that's the Alberni Valley Bulldogs, Cowichan Valley, Powell River, Coquitlam, Surrey, Nanaimo, Langley, Victoria, and your Chilliwack Chiefs. With COVID restrictions relaxing, Chilliwack FC says, yes, it's game on starting May 31st with some activities, although parents, you still won't be able to sit in the stands, at least for now. According to the reopening plan, spectators won't be permitted until Phase 2, and the number will be limited, so hopefully sometime in mid to late June. At their year-end review, the Vancouver Canucks let it be known that they are trying to hammer out a new contract for coach Travis Green, and he, along with general manager Jim Benning, very pumped about the farm team moving to Abbotsford from Utica. This allows the big club to keep a closer eye on talent, and both Green and Benning say they look forward to a quick trip down the highway to watch the prospects in Abbotsford. This coming Saturday, CBC will air a behind-the-scenes documentary called Our Game, revealing how the Canadian Elite Basketball League ushered in live sports back to Canada during the pandemic. So this also takes a look at the Fraser Valley Bandits, who are based in Abbotsford. Last season, the CEBL was able to have a tournament-style season where the Bandits came up short in their quest for a championship. They're number 2. This summer, the Canadian Elite League is hoping for a season where home teams can do just that, play at home and not in a bubble. chillTV weather, a taste of early summer this weekend with sunshine and temperatures reaching the upper 20s. If you'd like to participate in reporting news in Chilliwack and you have a story you think we should know about, send us a note to news@chilltv.ca. We'd love to hear from you. That's the news this week. Don't get a sunburn. I'm Don Lehn.